Hello, I am Kristen from the Neverending TBR and Kristen's Corner. I am going to do a part 1 and part 2 of my bookish wrap up because what is today? The 18th? And this video was already close to 40 minutes. So, I'm having a good reading month. And I know that my reviews are not like anything to write home about, okay? And I know it's just me rambling, and if I get excited or if I get upset about a book, I will share that part of myself. But reviews, like, I don't use the smarty words. So I figured I would do part 1 and then see where I end up by the end of the month, and then give you a part 2 sometime in July. So here you go. All right, day 1 is done and dusted. Dana did a great job with the welcome day and all the sprints. I finished Guilt in a Ginnaton, yeah. I gave it 4 stars. I usually give them 5. It was missing, there's like a process that Lila does when she's solving the case, basically, and she goes into her kitchen, and whatever the theme is excuse me, for the book, whether it, like when it was the holiday book, it was a Christmas thing, and so they it was like a corn festival, so it was like autumn, but she never took the time to make anything new. Everything was already pre-made, and you didn't get that magic that she has. Excuse me. And you didn't have the sense of, her friend group was fighting because her best friend gets framed for a murder. So, I don't know, like, and it was missing the calendar crew, like they were part of it, but they weren't. And you knew who did it. Like, you totally knew. You didn't even need to know the backstory. You knew who did it. So, it's not my fave. And Lila had an attitude problem the entire book. Like, her poop did not stink. So, that was that. And then next up is this one. I'm very excited. I'm hoping it's as good as everybody says. But yeah, doing good. All right. It's the 2nd. Yes. And book 2 is done. There are no zombies in this. No zombies. I think what my friend told me is that because I liked Max Brooks so much, that I would probably like the style of this book, and my brain went zombies. So, but this isn't. This is Lord of the Flies 2.0, Yellow Jacket, the show Yellow Jackets, but they're stuck in a theme park. This big hurricane came, and this park that's in Florida, that's very Disney and Universal Studio-esque, just gets hit. And there's evacuation plans for theme parks and like big businesses, especially tourist business, where there's usually a skeleton crew that stays with the park, and they're reimbursed and compensated after the fact. And it's about the people that, there was like 300 people that stayed behind. So, but it's like a Max Brooks book, or what was the other one? I just looked it up too. I read The Kill Show. It's very true crime-ish. When you read a true crime book and it's all the interviews and stuff like that, It's very much like that. I I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. Yeah, it's more that human nature is more of a villain than any villain an author could create, and it just shows the worst sides of people that come out during hard times. So fantastic, fantastic, fantastic land. And then my next book is this one. Hopefully it doesn't give me nightmares, but I really want to watch the movie. I have a feeling it's gonna come to streaming soon, so I don't even have to go to the theater. I just don't know where to put it on the bingo board, because I originally put it in stargazing because I thought it was just nighttime on the cover, but it's not. It's supposed to be like a night sky, so I don't know. So I might have to bump it like to YA or something else, but the kids are not all right. But yeah, I'm very excited to dive into this. And then the next one after this is going to be Ruthless Creatures. So I am having an awesome reading week so far. I know it's only a couple days in, but I love that feeling when like you get one after another good book. So here's hoping. All right, before I get too far ahead of myself, I finished this one. I gave it 4 stars. The beginning drags, but you have to learn the character, and you know, she moves and she's in this new town, she's in a new school, she's got to make a new friend group. Garbage Man, I am doing a book review. Anyway, but once it gets past the halfway mark and the mayhem starts, it's bananas and fantastic. So I cannot wait to read the second one. Would have been 5 stars if it didn't drag so much. There was a lot of her point of view, somebody else's point of view, and then her dad's point of view. And yeah, I had thought that it was the sheriff and the diner waitress, and it was so much more than what I was even thinking. So awesome book. For some reason I thought Friendo was like a ghost or something, like somebody, I don't know, like Freddy Krueger, I don't know, but it was a good book. And then I just finished this. I started this whenever the Sweeney readers did their reading sprints. I started this. Oh my god, it's so good. My first 6 star of the year. I have a feeling my next one is going to be next week when Caught Up comes. But fan-frickin-tastic. If you like John Wick and always wanted spicy scenes in John Wick, this is the book. It was so good. It was so good. The banter, like, I liked the spicy popcorn scenes. Like, they were really well done, and she does an amazing job about aftercare and asking permission and getting consent for out of the box relations. But the story was just really good. Like, when you find out what this woman's been going through, and then she finds out that it was like what the reason why, she was a badass. She was absolute badass, and he was a smoke show. Like, yeah. And now I'm going into this one because I have 9 days left to finish this, but I think I know what I'm going to do for my year 2 book, because I want to jump into Is it Colonel Urges is the next one? Yes. And it's going to be her friend Sloane's book. And she gets picked up by the Irish mob in this one, and I'm stoked. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I will be getting the rest of this series this month. But yeah, I don't know how I'm going to go from the high of this to this. But I'm going to try and see what happens. So Lies, I am going to watch the documentary that this is about and put this in my free little library unhaul. Just because I'm not in the mood. And I'm on such a high from this one. And I have this one, and Hoopla had the audiobook, so we're going to keep it going. So excited. Yeah, I am on chapter 3 and absolutely loving Sloane. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yes, it's almost 11 o'clock, but if I don't do these now, I will forget. I just wrapped up another book. Oh, wait. I think I left off, hold on, I had to double check. So when I left off, I was reading this one. I gave it 5 stars. It wasn't as magical as the first one. But she could have wrapped it up a lot sooner. But my favorite scene was him stopping the plane with a rocket launcher. My favorite scene ever. I cannot wait to find out how they're gonna tie in another character from the first book. So I got the third one. I'm trying to think how I'm gonna do this and not have everything fall down on me. I'm currently in the middle of wrapping up and finishing 2 books, and I just started another one with Abby. So I have about 100 pages left of The Lovely Bones. This is super heavy. I don't even know how I'm gonna be able to rate it, because I don't like to rate things with essay with children when I read them in books, because I don't feel that I should rate that experience. So yeah, this one, it gets me into like deep dark feels that I don't like. Yeah, so I'm having a hard time with this one. This one I'm having a hard time with because there's this one character, and he's like the bro character. You know, he's the one that hasn't really had to work for anything, but is supposed to know everything and thinks he knows everything. He really annoys me, and I've been listening to the audiobook, and I'm wondering if I'd like it better if I read it with my eyes, because the narrator does an amazing job at making him so douchey. So I don't know, but I just got to the part where they get lost in the woods, like because it's about a friend group that is taking an RV trip to some kind of, I think it's like the senior trip or something like that, and they're going to meet classmates somewhere, but they decided instead of flying or whatever, they were going to do an RV trip. But yeah, I've been having a hard time with this just because there's this one character that is just a douche. And then I just started this with Abby. I'm about 70 pages in. It's about vampires. A vampire wakes up at the morgue, or not the morgue, but like a funeral home, as a prank, and the mortician taking care of him She's very odd, and she's very into classic things. And she's a little weird, like, even for me. Like, she's nerdy weird, and she's cute, but at the same time I'm like, you're gonna die. Like, if he has a mean bone in his body. But then we want to have a whole book. So anyway, so we've been doing 2 chapters a day because this book came out this week and I ate it in a day. I listened to the audiobook, loved the audiobook. And then I bought this one, and then I almost had a temper tantrum because I couldn't find the art, and I'm like, I don't want the art here, but I found it. They made it so that you can rip it out. It's perforated, so that's smart, so that people aren't saying, I didn't get my art, it fell out. But yeah, I was going through the book, I'm like, where is it? I waited an extra day. But I really like this one. I gave it 5 stars, but the way I said it on Goodreads, for me, it's like if I was going to that family member or that friend's house that they always make something delicious. You have no idea what you're going into, and you enjoy the time spent with them and the meal and everything. And you bring home leftovers, but then you have the leftovers and you're like, what do I want to add to it? Because it was missing something for me. Not that it was missing anything, it was just missing something for me. And should I put a little bit more salt on it, more pepper, you know? For me, it was, I loved the side characters and the world building, and the actual story around the main characters was fantastic. I love the fact that she brought us out more, because in the first book, in Lights Out, we were really just in Josh's room or Allie's room because of what they did for a living, where this, we actually went out into the city and got to branch out, and there's a new building that all the characters can now have basically a playground to meet up in other books. And I thought that that was a really smart choice for the author. And the idea of the club is just awesome, because then she can, with whatever couples she decides to do, if she chooses to use the club, she can expand her spicy scenes with the club. So I thought, and Lo was an awesome character. Sorry, my air conditioner is going. Yeah, I liked it. It's just the main characters. Plus, I don't like second chance romances. But when I was in the shower, I realized that I think it's because I had to take a step back, because I was eating up this book, and it got to a schmexy scene that was a very holy schmexy scene, and I fell asleep. And I woke up and I thought that there's something wrong with me, because here's this very spicy scene and I fell asleep. I'm like, I'm so desensitized now. What happened? But I think that it's just because I had to take a step back and realize that the characters in this world are in their 20s, and the decisions that they're making, they don't make sense to me, because I personally wouldn't allow the shenanigans that some of the characters are doing. But at 20, I might have. So I had to take a step back. And I think I was also spoiled with Lights Out, where Josh was just written so well, and Allie had to grow up faster, so her maturity and how she processed things was at a different level than the characters in here. So, long story long, but I'm very happy that I got the special edition and that I read it, and can't wait for the next one. And yeah, I'm hoping to be done with this one tomorrow, and then this one by the weekend. And then I don't know what I'm picking up next. I think I'll pick up probably a YA, maybe How to Survive the Slasher. I think that's the one I'm going to pick up. I don't know. To be continued. All right, before any more days get ahead of me and I don't track my books, I finished this one. I don't remember what I rated it. I despised one of the characters, and it took forever for what I wanted to happen to them to happen to them. Other than that, I enjoyed it. What was the twist? One of the twists that I wasn't expecting was the character that I didn't like and his girlfriend had gotten into some trouble, and nobody knew about it. And then you find out the girlfriend really, really did know this person and all this. So that was really good. But basically these 6 friends are going on like a spring break vacation in an RV, and they get to a certain part, and they're ambushed by an active shooter that takes out their tires and all this stuff. And they tell them, one of them has a secret, it needs to come out, and whoever has the correct secret and the pieces of the puzzle that the shooter is looking for, they will be let go. But they have to come clean so they know who did what and to whom. And it got wild about midway through. Like there was it was a couple that stopped by, they saw the lights and they heard because they were blowing the horn at one point, I think, and they stopped just to see if somebody needed help, and one of them is dumb and passes a note to them, and the active shooter knows about it, and they get unalived because they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So it kind of got like crazier after that. I wasn't expecting like mob ties and like DAs and assistant DAs and things like that, because I'm used to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, where the author had the teenagers learning as they went, where these characters knew a little bit about the law, and it was totally different. But yeah, I liked it. I'm keeping it. I just, like I said, there was one character I was like, I don't like you. This book was so painful. It was so hard to get through. Part of it was about what it's about is a young girl. I think I don't remember, she's a teenager or whatever. She gets unalived by her neighbor, and things happen to her before she gets unalived, and this guy is just demonical. Like, it's nasty, and what he does with her remains, and how it's this entire book, and I want to say it's about over the course of 10 or 15 years before they can piece anything together. But it's told by her perspective from heaven, or her version of heaven. And she's looking down with her family and friends and people that she left behind, and she's kind of living vicariously through them because she's not going to have the chance to do that herself. And she doesn't have the maturity throughout the 15 years to understand how the other characters are growing. I don't know, like, she gets a little guidance here and there, and she makes friends, and she does find like family and things like that that have made it to heaven. That sounds horrible, but she finds them, or they find her, and like the lost souls of the neighbor that took her life find her, and they have like, but you don't find out what they talk about. You don't, and that was one of the things that drove me nuts. I'm like, okay, you're world building and you're bringing in these extra characters, but you're not giving them a voice. And I don't know if that was intentional or not intentional. But yeah, this was, when I was done, I was like, thank God. Because like, as much as I wanted to DNF it, I wanted to know, one, if they ever catch the guy, and two, like, does she ever move on? You know what I mean? So it just, it was heartbreaking. It was absolutely heartbreaking. I am not watching the movie. I thought about it. I was like, I was gonna do like book to screen. Absolutely not. I can't. Kids are one of those things that make me know that I'm a little bit normal. Where I'm like, absolutely, just don't mess with kids. Don't mess with kids. Don't make it graphic. Don't, nothing. That, it's not okay. YA is like borderline for me. Like, sometimes I'm like, okay, that you're in a weird space there, author. So I read those. I just finished Unhinged. I listened to it on audiobook. Had I picked up the book, I think I would have DNF'd that too. It's a young adult, it's marketed as a dark romance. I was thinking with something called Unhinged that it was going to be like a psychological thriller dark romance. It was not. This girl that was like 25, I think, or 20, in her 20s, had suffered SA and DV and all these things throughout her entire life. Her mom had unalived herself because she was getting all of that before her daughter took over for that part because she was no longer there. And the dad was just a piece of junk. And this girl decides that she's just not gonna stick around. So she tries to set her house on fire, and she did not know that her father was in the basement, passed out drunk, and he gets unalived, but she gets saved. And so she ends up in this asylum to try and rehabilitate her and try and make her be able to go back into society. And it kind of reminded me of hold on one second, excuse me, I had to sneeze. It reminded me of like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, or like Nurse Ratched, but everybody was like in their 20s. Like that's what it reminded me of. Like, it was like college age. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And the thing is like, she was a dropout, so she has to take classes or college classes or something like that in order to show that she can go for a job when she gets out. And there's a bad guy, or bad boy, and he's like the morally gray character, and his name is Gray. and he takes a liking to her. And then I can't remember the name of the other one, and he's like really, really bad. Like he's there for life if he doesn't end up in prison, kind of thing. But it's kind of like her trying to find a safe space and learn her place in this new environment, and nobody's making it easy for her, but at the same time she's making herself the victim. So it was just very dramatic, and Gray was the only character I cared about. There's an patient inmate named Damon that runs the inside, and when it goes out of his control, then that's when the guards and things like that take care of certain things. But he's the one that runs things, and he has this like group of people that they all have certain jobs, you know, to keep everybody in line. And you come to find out that his cousin is the psychologist, and the psychologist and him don't get along. And this girl is just messed up. And because she was, you know, SA'd as a kid and had DV growing up, she doesn't understand love and like safe touch and things like that. So when these two guys are, you know, hitting on her, she doesn't know what to do. And so it was weird. It was when she finally decides to, you know, be with both of them, not at the same time, but at different times. I'm like, what are you doing? You know that they're not gonna like this. And it ends with her getting blamed for something that she didn't do. So, excuse me. I think that I would continue the series just to see what pieces were moved, because I do like the chessboard part of it. Like, this character moved this piece and this character moved. So I like that part of it. The romance part of it I didn't really care for. But yeah, I would wait for the audiobooks, because I don't think that I would actually read it with my eyes. Anyway, that was a lot longer than I wanted to talk about it. I am currently reading Reborn Yesterday. I think I'll be done by the end of the week. I've been buddy reading it with Abby Jean. I'll talk about it when I finish it, because where I'm at now, I'm like, I probably would have put it down if I wasn't buddy reading it. I like Roxana. Roxana's my favorite character. But it's kind of like, it reminds me a lot of Twilight. And I was not a fan of Twilight. So I'm trying to like put that aside and just read the book, but there's so many nods to it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I just started this. I am loving this. Under the Surface. I think I'm... Ooh, hey! I got stickers! I didn't know I got stickers. Oh, cool. Anyway. I think I'm on chapter 6 already. I'm flying through it. I'm listening to it. I'm kind of immersion reading. But, yeah, this is... I'm having fun so far. It's a French class, a high school French class is in France, and the main character so far, I think that's the only one that we're really learning about. I think we're just meeting the boyfriend. But she has a YouTube channel, and her best friend's mom and dad have like a HGTV channel, and so the best friend helps with this girl's YouTube videos, and so does the boyfriend character. So I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. And this cover is just so cool. So that's where I'm at. Making progress. The mountain of books is kind of going down, but it doesn't help that I keep buying more. But yeah, that's where I'm at.